Okay, my name is Mikko Karsisto. I'm from Keho Interactive. Like she said, we do virtual or extended reality for television. I can see pretty many familiar faces. Some of them are from our company here, and some of them are our customers. But let me show you some, actually, before showing you anything, let me tell you a little bit of history, what we did to become a virtual reality company. So we were, there's 5 of us in the company. We were doing different things, like some of us were working for Yle, the Finnish broadcast company. Some of us, we were developing games, and when we were developing the game, we noticed that our game was a quite animation-intensive game. So we needed a lot of animation. And because we were a really, really small company, just a few people, we knew that we cannot just go and buy motion capture services from like Hollywood, or we couldn't use stock animation because the game was animation intensive, and if we use stock animations like walk animations, it would never be our game. It would just be a generic animation. So we decided to build our own motion capture system here in Tampere. We developed it a couple of years and used it to get our own animations for the game. At the same time, other people were developing this project called Mediapolis here in Tampere. It happened in the Yle premises and Technopolis premises in Tohloppi, where the second biggest Yle site of Finland is. And somehow they knew that we were doing motion capture, basically. And they called us, do we want to start developing a motion capture studio here in Tampere? Think about whether that could be a feasible business. So we, well, what can you say? Of course we did it. We went to the Yle premises and started developing a much more advanced motion capture system than what we had in the city center of Tampere. A few years went by, we did a few nice motion capture projects, and then we realized that, well, the motion capture isn't the only thing that you can do with the motion capture system. You can actually track TV cameras and build a virtual studio system. Okay, Yle had already a virtual studio system dated how many years back? Like a 10 years old system, working still pretty well, but in need of an update. So we started thinking about updating the system, and this is our first little demo that we did with the virtual studio system, combining the motion capture. I'll just let it run. Ilmari here, the human man, is one of our team members. So already at that time it was a real-time system, and based on that tech we started to develop the virtual studio. That was a fun experiment. I don't remember exactly when that happened. I think it was around 2015. Yes, 2015. Moving on from that, this is where we are now, or 1 year ago. as you can see, most of the stuff we do is with Yle Sports. We also do some stuff with Yle Children and some other companies. But we are based in the Yle premises, and we are able to use their technology while we develop our own. And we operate the Yle's virtual studio, and that's the stuff that you saw. But like you saw, we were present in the Korean Olympics broadcast team, and this is one of the things that we went there to do. Let me show you quickly what it is.
Perinteisen kaistaa koko matkalle. Ensimmäisessä nousussa on 4 kaistaa, koska pystytään käyttämään tätä vappaan puolen ylösmenolla tuo vappaanossuuksella ja sitten Pertsalla tätä Pertsan puolta. Ja,
so it's basically just it's AR for television.
Ensimmäinen nousu,
just,
joka on erittäin
just like any AR, it's the same. You lay artificial content on top of real content. AR for television. This is what we went there to do. But what actually was more interesting for the production team, they came up with this idea of transferring people that were based in Pyeongchang, transferring them to the studio, which was located in Pasila. So they came and asked, can we do that? We thought, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's try to do it. So we started experimenting with the live video feeds and connections from Pyeongchang. And it started working pretty well. There was a huge, 15-second delay back and forth between Pasila and Pyeongchang. But the system started working so well that Yle actually bought a bigger connection. They bought some bandwidth, and we started doing this the next day. The first day was the prototype, and the next day was the real production, where they bought some big bandwidth connection to Korea, and started making it better and better. So then this is what happened. It's a real-time connection between Pasila and Pyeongchang, where the presenter can talk with the guys in Pyeongchang.
Wappa Gangnam Style, Samin ja Kallen matka tuolla Soulin sykkeessä on herättänyt ansaitusti teidän mielenkiintoinen, mutta mitä miehille itselle reppuun jäi tuosta matkasta? Eiköhän kutsuta Kalle ja Sami suoraan Pyeongchangista mukaan tähän lähetykseen ja antaa miesten itse kertoa.
Joo, kerro se Sami ensin. Mikä sun mielestä oli siistiä siinä?
Now here, this brings us to my first question. I have 2 questions for you guys. The first question is, how do we make that hologram person appear more 3-dimensional? Like you saw, it's basically a 2D plane, and when you move the camera enough, the viewer can see that it's not 3D, it's just 2D video on top of 3D real environment. Okay, for the community, we want a solution how to make this hologram person appear 3-dimensional as the camera moves. I'm just not expecting any answers to this. I know that many people are already investigating this. I've been talking to people here in this university about this, and it's quite interesting approach. But there must be many ways to do this, and let me know later today or some other time if you have some ideas. We want to make that happen as a business as usual in TV productions, because there's a huge need for this. I've heard from many places that, and actually you can see Telia is doing this with ice hockey broadcasts. Other people are doing this all over the world. They are all doing this with 2D systems. Okay, we want a 3D system. Next up, green screen. we were visiting the IBC convention in Amsterdam and noticed that quite a lot of companies were moving from green screen to actual displays, so that you don't need to do the keying anymore. But well, that's one more. I think it's quite a nice solution, but it's really expensive. We still use green screen, and this is the stuff that we currently do with green screen. So with the green screen, we can use the background graphics. We lay the real set and the people on top of that. Then we have the foreground graphics in front of the real people. We can do all that stuff with the green screen. But can we do that without the green screen? My second question. How would you get rid of the green screen? I mean, what we want to do basically is to separate the using distance to objects to separate them. We want to, from the video feed, we want to only see whatever is between 3 and 4 meters from the camera, for instance, or some other way that you can come up with. We just want to get rid of the green screen. We want a magic button that will clear out everything from the video but people, or everything else but what happens between 3 and 4 meters from the camera. And we want to keep the possibility to replace that with the background graphics, and again lay foreground graphics on top of the people, if you know what I mean. Another thing that I don't expect anyone to answer now, but again, I've seen a demo here in these premises of how that could be done with a depth sensing system. We just don't have it, and we don't have any, like one of the problems with these, the things that you guys develop is that you do kind of a groundbreaking studies and lots of science stuff that has the basis for a real application and a really well working like solution to a problem. But the university usually doesn't develop it as far as when we can take it and start using it. That's one of our problems. because it takes a lot of money for that invention to become something like a viable solution for us to use. I don't know. This is not one of my questions for you. It's just some food for thought. How could we start using something? Where can we find the funding to start developing together with you something that is not like it's just a basis for a solution. It's an algorithm. It's a prototype. It's something that you bolted together from a RealSense or Kinect or some video cameras and stuff like that. How to take it further towards a solution that we can start using. That was not the question. This is the question. But okay. Any case, these are my 2 questions, and I'll be there present in the demos that start shortly in half an hour. Grab me by the neck if you find a solution for these questions, or if you want to ask questions. Actually, I guess we have some time for questions now, if there are some.
Yeah, so Mikko asked his questions. Do you have any for Mikko?
So in the live TV, does everything always run smoothly, or do you get some hacks that you need to do right away?
Sorry, I didn't quite get.
When you have something in live, like in the national TV,
Yep.
are you there if something going wrong? You need
Yes.
to fix the code right away, or is it running smoothly all the time?
At this point, we are developing a system. We are using it in live production, but it's always in development. And that's kind of our strategy also. It's not a ready-made system. It will never be a ready-made system. Actually, at Yle premises, we have the control room, and it's laid out so that we have 2 tables there. We have a table with a development version of the system, and then 2 meters in front of that, we have a table with the production version of that same system. So we can run the development version or the production version. And every time we run, let's say, an FA Cup game, there's something new. We are changing hardware, we are adding more features, doing stuff like that. And well, you can bet that we are there, and you can bet that there are always something going wrong before the live show. We managed to avoid anything like breaking down catastrophically during the live show, but it's in development, and it will always be in development. That's our kind of way to do it.
Can you share the story about what happens if it breaks down, and it's still quite nice looking about the Winter Olympics?
You mean well, yeah. In the Olympics, we did camera tracking the same way as we are doing there now. So we are doing it with the motion capture system. There are many ways to track a camera. Like the boom camera, Technocrane can have its own tracking system built in. But we were doing it optically. And it requires a nice environment to be able to do that. And also it requires that there are no mirrors nearby the camera, because it messes up the whole optical system. So one of the presenters actually was dressed like a big disco ball. Her dress was completely made out of mirrors, and we didn't know that beforehand. When they started rehearsing the program like 15 minutes before going live, we saw that, okay, this is going to work as long as she stays well away from the camera itself. Then going live, and she didn't. So the whole system like went bananas, and the world went upside down, and virtual screens start flying away, and there was a snowfall on screen, a virtual snowfall. You can see that also there. When we came back from Pasila, I called my father and asked if he saw what happened, and he didn't know what I was talking about. Okay, didn't you see that when the whole world went upside down and everything started flying? Oh, I thought it was just a snowstorm. Like the snow started going upside down and the screens flew away and all that. Okay, yes, we did that on purpose. Yeah, that's actually the biggest thing that went wrong, and it wasn't so big.
Any other questions? All right.
With the improved bandwidth that you had during your broadcasting, how much delay did you have between the Olympic side?
How much delay?
Yeah.
I think it was half a second going from Korea to Pasila, and then another half second back, so not bad.
And one personal concern, the way that you start adding these graphics to the screens, I'm worried that at some point we would see a lot of this deep fake image on the TV shows also. The ones that speakers are also made by prior trained networks rather than people.
I don't know, it could happen.
Have you ever tried anything like that?
Do you mean that we would 3D scan something and then play it back later?
Yeah, or you gather the videos of the speakers, so just in case that if they don't show up, you would have fake of them?
Well, we also did that in the Olympics, because there's a time difference between Pasila and Pyeongchang. So only some of the shows were live, and then during their daytime we recorded some stuff, or they recorded some stuff, and then when there was a night in Pyeongchang and primetime TV here in Finland, we played back that stuff. So technically it doesn't matter if it's real time or recording. But it was kind of well thought out that if it's an interview, of course it's live, but then later on in the evening show, these people from Pyeongchang were just telling about their day, so it wasn't an interview, it's just something that they were talking about.
More questions? Right, if not, let's thank Mikko.
Thank you.